If you've ever felt like you sense more than other people, colors, moods, shifts in a room, and wondered, is this intuition? Is this neurological? Or am I just making things up? This story is for you. This is how I learned that the way I see energy isn't magic. It's simply how my brain and body are wired. And it starts with almost fainting in a park. The dizziness came first, and then the darkness, edging in from my peripheral vision. One minute I was walking through Nichols Park, feeling fine. The next, my knees went weak and I started to faint. I was next to a park bench and collapsed onto it, head between my knees. I sat there with my head down, letting the nausea pass and the dizziness subside. Once it did, I looked up, and I could see all the beautiful fall colors of the leaves. It was May. I blinked, still there. It wasn't just fall leaves. Some plants were blindingly bright, deep red and burnt orange. The grass hummed soft and low. There was a shimmer to the edges of things, as if the world was gently vibrating. It was beautiful, and for a moment I felt only wonder. Then my thoughts intruded. Oh God, I have a brain tumor. I was 21 and tended toward drama. But then I heard a quieter voice, one that didn't speak from fear. Calm down, you've seen this before. And I had seen it before, and I had sent it away. In graduate school, I had made myself serious. I read difficult books and wrote difficult things. I learned to lean into logic, to sharpen my mind and focus my arguments. There was no room in that Celia for colors spilling from trees, for energy humming through roots. I had dismissed it long ago, told myself it didn't fit the person I was becoming. And yet, here it was. Again. Why now, I wondered. Nearly 20 years later, I would learn about the sun allergy, how my body buckled under the light. I realized the dizziness that day cracked open something I had shut away. But at the time, I only knew that I was seeing something I had long ago chosen not to see. And then another memory surfaced. I was 11, attending a piano clinic, working one-on-one with a distinguished pianist. He was blind. At the end of our session, he turned to me. Go ahead and ask. I hesitated. Excuse me, sir? Ask what you want to ask. I won't take offense. I thought for a moment. I know there are Braille scores, but do you really learn new pieces that way? Rarely, he said. Mostly I learn by ear. I nodded. I was impressed. That's amazing, sir, I said. It's not as impressive as it seems, he said. I have synesthesia. Do you know what that is? No, I've never heard of it. It means that my brain is cross-wired. When I hear a note, I see a color. I thought about that. Is it a special type of perfect pitch? I asked. It includes perfect pitch, but it's more than that. Does music look like pictures to you? I asked. Sort of, he answered. Being blind, my idea of pictures is no doubt different from yours. I turned this over in my mind. Do you think you have it because you're blind? Maybe, he said, but I've had it as long as I can remember, so maybe not. I hesitated. Do you see colors for other things, things that aren't music? Yes, sometimes, if I choose. I paused. Can you see me then? He tilted his head, considering. I can see the colors around you. He waited a moment, an extra beat, then asked, Can you? I started to say no, but then I looked at him, waiting. He had seen me, recognized me despite his blindness. Yes, sir, I said, sometimes. He nodded. I thought you might. Then he said, reassuring me, it's nothing to worry about. It's just how some of us are wired. It means we see things differently. That's all. Synesthesia. Remember it. I didn't, not for a long time, but it was there in my memory when I needed it. A neurological explanation for my sensory experience. Synesthesia. So let's name what's actually happening here. Some people see colors around things. Others feel shifts in a room before anyone speaks. Some just know before it happens. We call it intuition. Some call it psychic. But whatever it is, it's not magic. Your brain isn't just recording reality like a camera, it's constantly filtering, predicting, and assembling patterns before you're consciously aware of them. And some brains do this differently. Synesthesia is one example. Brains where senses overlap, hearing and color, numbers and texture, letters and taste. It's not a disorder, it's a wiring pattern. Research suggests synesthesia can actually be a cognitive advantage, more crosstalk between areas of the brain, and sometimes stronger memory or creativity as a result. There's also sensory processing sensitivity, what many people know as being a highly sensitive person. These are the people who walk into a room and can immediately tell who's tense, who's checked out, who's about to explode, before a word is spoken. What looks like psychic is often a nervous system that processes sensory and emotional data more deeply and more slowly. It's not that you're imagining things, it's that your system is picking up more information and taking it seriously. And then there's the body's own electrical language. Every thought, every movement, every healing process is driven by tiny bioelectric currents. For a long time, science focused on this as neurons. Now we're seeing that electrical signaling shapes tissue repair, development, maybe even some aspects of disease. For thousands of years, different cultures have talked about energy in the body. Now we have more language for the mechanics, electrical gradients, signaling networks, complex feedback loops. I'm not saying this proves everything people claim about energy work, but it does suggest that what we experience as energy may be grounded in a biological system that we don't fully understand yet. So when someone says, I see energy, or I feel the field in this room, it might not be mystical. It might be perception, just operating on a channel we don't all share. Here's how it shows up for me. Some people radiate deep red, almost shimmering. Mothers of newborns have an apple green glow. Most people are dulled by a layer of smog, static, dense, like an old window that hasn't been washed in a while. And then there's that person everyone turns to, the one who listens, who absorbs everything, who somehow makes people feel lighter just by being around. Her energy is golden. This is how I see the energy my mind perceives. The colors weren't something I assigned, they were just there. It wasn't until much later, when I came across descriptions of chakras and auras, that I saw any overlap. But some people's energy stands out immediately. When I first met my mentor, Sandra Sweetman, I recognized her right away, not by her face, but by the quality of her energy. It was bright, clear, shifting through colors like light through a prism. I had seen it before. When I was 5, a family built a house across the street. Their daughter, Deanna, was everything I admired, graceful, confident, a dancer. She became my favorite babysitter. And from the moment I met her, I noticed something unusual. Deanna's energy was rainbow-colored, sparkling, shifting like those prism stickers I collected. I hadn't thought about that in years until I saw Sandra. The moment I recognized her energy, I knew I had seen it before. Deanna grew up to become an oncology navigator and writer, walking people through the hardest days of their lives with clarity and fierce compassion. She died in August of a secondary cancer, but her impact and the way she moved through the world are still very much alive in the people she helped. In my mind, she's still the original sparkly rainbow unicorn. I've spent years balancing what I know with what I sense. For a long time, I pushed one side away, the part of me that saw colors, that felt shifts in energy, that perceived things without a neat explanation. But over time, the same lesson kept circling back. What we ignore doesn't disappear. It waits. Whether it's an ability we once had, an instinct we've silenced, or a truth we're hesitant to admit, these things have a way of returning. Science moves that way too, slowly, reluctantly, in the direction of things human cultures have pointed to for centuries. The body, the brain, and perception itself are more complex than our current models. We're only beginning to ask the right questions. So if anything in this has felt a little too familiar, if you've seen colors or felt the edges of a room or known something before you could explain it, this is your gentle reminder. You're not broken. You may simply be wired to notice more. The real question is, what have you been pushing away? What parts of your own intuition, perception, or knowing are waiting for you to pay attention? You don't have to have an answer today, just a willingness to stop dismissing what your body and your senses have been whispering all along.